Studies show that 100% of everybody in the world wants to curl up indoors and do nothing because it's so darn cold out there. That's why many people are turning to Bombas, whose pillowy plush slippers and warm merino wool socks have been said to be the most comfortable in the history of feet. Bombas products have been found to boost coziness by up to 1,000,000%. Okay, enough fake statistics, but could Bombas socks and slippers really be the cure? Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot, Rico. It's Rico and Bot live on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel on a Friday night as the first week of free agency comes to its conclusion. What a wild week it has been. Started off quiet for the Bills. Well, I shouldn't say started off quiet because the week prior, things got interesting where Bean makes a move on DJ Moore. Then the actual free agency period started a little bit quiet. Now that the dust is settling a little bit, now that the chaos is kind of dissipating, kind of liking what's being done over at One Bills Drive. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself of things that I'm trying to convince myself of every year, but I'm not kidding you. I'm starting to feel decent about what's going down, including the latest addition to the Buffalo Bills, and that would be former Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles, CJ Gardner-Johnson. We'll talk about that and much more right here tonight. Rico, brother, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling kind of spicy in a way. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple things I got to get off my chest a little bit. One that I'm probably going to put you on the spot a little bit. I want to challenge you and challenge a few other people because I got to thinking. Because Bills fans, first of all, salute everybody. It's Friday. It's March break for us next week. I don't know what you guys call it for that spring break. Is that what you guys call it? Is this spring break for you guys?
Spring break, but I think spring break's typically in April up here.
Is it April? Okay, so we have something called March break. So next week, all the kids are going to be off, and so it's Friday, man. So let's enjoy this. But I'm feeling kind of spicy today, and I might be coming for some people. But let me put it this way: a couple things that I want to touch on, and we'll get into it. This free agency, all I've been hearing all week and the week prior to that, and pretty much prior, even when the season ended, was Bean better get busy and fill this roster, and we got to go balls to the wall. And he even said it. I need to be aggressive. And then I was like looking at who we've signed, and then I was looking at who's signed elsewhere. Other than the two big-time names of Hendrickson and Crosby, was there any other free agent that you were like, oh, man, I can't believe we didn't get that guy? Was there anybody that stood out to you?
No, and I feel like that also played a part in what felt like a lack of excitement. This is why I'm sitting here now. And sometimes, with Old Bot, it takes a couple of minutes to really reflect on the broader picture. Because when these moves are happening, you're only looking at them for that move in and of itself. You're not looking at it, I feel like, with a wide-angle lens. And then once the moves are made kind of in totality, where you have a handful of moves now made, I'm looking back on it, and you get an edge, you get a wide receiver, you get a corner, you get a safety. Where I'll give Bean credit here is every positional group, or at least the majority of the positional groups that needed addressment, have been addressed. it doesn't feel like anything was a major overpay by any means. Yep. I think people were kind of getting on him about the DJ Moore situation, but then you see Alec Pierce get paid, and I just don't know how you could be upset with what DJ Moore got. I just don't. And then you might be upset about the second-round pick, but Bean gave up the second-round pick to avoid having to get into this mess of getting in a bidding war for Alec Pierce or maybe overpaying for Mike Evans. And we'll talk about him in a second, because I got something to say about that that's killing me over the last couple of days here.
You got it.
But regardless, Rico, I just think that now that you look at the whole picture instead of just bits and pieces at once, I think Brandon Bean is doing about as much as you could possibly do right now with what they have to work with to address what they need to address. And I think the point you just made is a relevant one. And that is, I just don't think outside of Hendrickson and Crosby, who apparently is just going to stay a Raider. So let's just remove him at this point. Yeah, outside of Crosby, Hendrickson, it's just like, it wasn't the sexiest free agency of all time. And apparently you and I now are like, we are like the judges of sexiness over the last couple of shows here. It wasn't the sexiest free agency, right? Where the big move is like Tua going to Atlanta. You know what I mean? So I'm with you. I'm with you. And, it's not that I wasn't ever not excited. It's just I feel like every one of the moves made, they weren't necessarily moves that you do get excited about, because we talked about this last episode. You're kind of waiting for the where were you when this happened type move. But it just didn't feel like, outside of a couple of guys, that this free agency kind of allowed for that. And I feel like a trade would have to happen in order for the Bills to end up getting that type of move.
And this is why being a fan is fun in this regard, because around this time of year, it allows us to be super invested in what the team is doing, because we're fans. We want the nice things. We want all the shiny, nice things. But once the dust really does settle and you realize what we have received and how our team is constructed as of right now, bro, like you just lamented on it. We got our receiver, and a big time receiver at that. We got our pass rusher, not some scrub, a guy that can't play. And we just picked up a safety that is a ball hawk of a safety, and one that's going to give the ball back to Josh. How could anybody be upset with what Bean has been doing? Because there's some people still getting on Bean's behind. So which brings me to this point. We're gonna play a little game, all right? Mm-hmm. And you just have to give me a yeah or just a no, or give me something positive, something thumbs up, thumbs down. Doesn't matter, right? And Hendrickson and Crosby are out of it. Would you have been happy, or with Jalen Phillips been a name that you would have loved for the Bills to get at $30 million a year?
For what Carolina paid him, absolutely not.
Perfect. So you're saying no. Alec Pierce at $28.5 million a year?
No.
Okay. Cherry Henderson is gone. Tyler Lindenbaum, we don't need him because we already got our center, which you can say that's a free agent pickup that we got. Adafe Owe, an edge rusher, $25 million. Would you pay? Are you ready to pay $25 million to Adafe Owe that you're like, okay, solid player, but is he really gonna get us over the edge?
No, because if you were gonna make a move like that, then how do you not bump it up $5 million and go to Hendrickson?
There you go. So Malik Willis, John Franklin Myers. I know that's been a guy that's been on some people's lists on the defensive line. That would have been one that came from the Denver Broncos. $21 million a year. Some might have said yes, some might have said no. I would love to know what the chat is thinking. But I'm just going to run through a list, right? Boye Mafe, Alontae Taylor, and stop me when you're like, maybe that's a guy I would take. Wan'Dale Robinson, Rashid Shaheed.
I wouldn't have minded that at all, because I feel like you could have added that along with DJ Moore. I felt the same way about Dobbs, too.
Okay, so $17 million a year. He got $51 million, $17 million a year. And then stop me when you see it. Jalen Watson, Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, I would have been in on that.
Zion Johnson, Kwity Paye, David Edwards. We had a chance. Apparently, we were in on him, but then he decided to go to the Saints, which is great for them.
Saints gave him more than the Bills were going to be able to ever give him.
Absolutely. $15 million, he'll take that, right? Cordell Flott, Devin Lloyd, Bradley Chubb we got. Kenneth Walker we don't need. Mike Evans, 33 years of age, good with the
Let me say on something on Mike Evans. For what I think the Niners got one of the steals of free agency. When that
we'll talk about that.
Okay. But I would have been for that. I would just say for that, what that contract was yes, in.
Okay, so and he's been paid right now $14 million a year. All right. Mm-hmm. Elijah Vera Tucker, Quay Walker, Byron Cook, Isaiah Likely. Now I'm starting to go down the list of guys that really are not moving the needle for anybody. So as much as people were crying about what the Bills did not do or did not get, there's a whole lot of guys that are out there that weren't really moving the needle for a whole lot of people. Guys like Caden Ellis would have been a nice pickup, but you're not crying over and say, oh, we didn't get Caden Ellis. I think Bean, if you look at what he's done thus far, has done a good job. And I know people want to say, oh, because I was looking at the comments the other day, like, oh, when did Rico become such a apologist for Brandon Bean? I thought he was, bro, you poo-poo on the man when he does terrible job. But you can't tell me he's done a terrible job. And by going by the grades that some of the chat was giving him, bro, everybody was in a B minus, B plus, and the C pluses. And nobody, I didn't see no D's and an F's. Well, get out of here, man. So not every fan is like that, but it was bugging me because I was like, I'm on my way home driving, listening to talk radio, and I'm hearing all the free agents that are out there, and I'm looking at the roster that we have. Then I'm listening back to our show last night from a couple nights ago, and I'm like looking at the roster that we have, who we have on this roster. Bro, we're just a couple pieces away. And if you look at this team now, you got Cole Bishop, CJ Gardner-Johnson. That's a nice duo right there. That back end zipped up. Now, less stress. Now you can fill roles as you need. Hey, we liked what Shaq Thompson did for us last year. Hey, we bring Shaq Thompson. All right, now we can go into the draft and let these guys play out. We have Dorian Williams. That boy can play. I like Dorian Williams. And
that's what's next right there. The linebacker that's what. Right. Like if he would have gotten Dre Greenlaw yesterday, we could have been talking about getting up towards the A minus territory here. I would have loved that. I think that's the one thing we're missing here. Maybe obviously guard too, but I feel like they might like what Alec Anderson is. And so maybe that's more the focus than going out and getting someone to solidify that starting spot. I don't know. The linebacker though, Wyatt Teller. You got two linebackers in house right now that you haven't. I mean, have you heard a word about Shaq Thompson or Matt Milano? Not even just from the Buffalo side of things, from any side of things. Nothing. I thought Dre Greenlaw made sense. I guess, the reunion with San Fran made the most sense, but
makes sense.
I think that's the one last area, right? Linebacker.
Greenlaw has been dealing with some soft tissue injuries. So those things can flare up at any point. So almost kind of like you're taking a chance on them, and that's what it is. I think they did a 1-year deal with him. Greenlaw would have been great. But here's my question. You just mentioned two names. At least for me, I'd bring Shaq Thompson back in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
What about Milano? Would you entertain bringing back Milano and pretty much essentially bringing back the crew again? Or would you say, hey, we've had our time with Matt Milano. We're good. Shaq Thompson, at least we saw some great things, and he was pretty much the leader of that defense last year. Let's just focus on bringing in a linebacker from the draft. And if we can land Rodriguez, that freaking stud of a linebacker, then that's a whole different ballgame. But your thoughts on entertaining Milano and bringing back the whole crew? Are you in on that? Or are you like, nah, I'm good?
I mean, I feel like you obviously entertain it. You're going into what will now be the 5th complete day of free agency. I haven't heard a word about Matt Milano. And if anybody would hear about it, wouldn't it be us, like Bills fans?
Facts.
So I haven't heard anything. Same with Shaq Thompson. This tells me that people aren't, banging the door down to pay Matt Milano an exorbitant amount of money that Brandon Beane's just not going to be able to consider at this point. So I feel like you obviously do consider it if you're Brandon Beane, knowing that it's probably going to be on a deal that's favorable for Buffalo. I feel like at this point in his career, does Milano want to pick up and leave on a 1-year deal somewhere else? I don't know. I look at what McGovern said, which I absolutely just loved, by the way, where he was like, what do you want me to do? He was basically like, a couple $1 million, is that going to make me happier elsewhere? Is that really going to change my family's life? I mean, I absolutely love that. I always understand people chasing the bag. You only got a handful of years to play this sport, and it's your career at the end of the day.
Yep.
Make your money. Yep. But I always appreciate that perspective as well, because once you get to a certain amount of money, well, when is it worth sacrificing the other things? Taking your kids out of school, leaving your house, leaving your friends in the locker room, leaving the place that you've built your career at over the last several years, the place where you feel like you can win the most. So I feel like in looking at Milano's perspective, maybe that's something you look at here as well. Where it's just at the point in his career where he's willing to stay in Buffalo for a number that Brandon Beane feels comfortable with. But the question, I guess, is that going to be the solution at linebacker this year, right? We know Terrell Bernard last year It was not what we thought it was going to be.
Right.
This past season. And I think Shaq Thompson was far better than what we thought it was going to be at his age. So I think Shaq Thompson needs to come back, and I'd have no problem with Milano coming back, depending on what the money looked like. But I can't imagine it's anything wild at this point.
No, I totally agree with you. I'm bang on with you, and I had to bring that up. I don't want to take away from the biggest talk now, but I had to get that out there because I'm looking at what the Bills have done and what's out there, and there's still some really good players out there that we can now have. Now that what you probably would have commanded has now dwindled to maybe a 1 year, 2 year deal that we can now Bean can start doing his bargain binning. But I think we got the pieces that we actually need, and we paid sizable amounts for them. $29 million is not a joke, right? To our guy, $24 million a year for DJ Moore is not a joke. A nice $6 million deal on Gardner-Johnson, fantastic. Which brings me to my next point.
Yeah,
how do we love the new addition, Mr. CJ Gardner-Johnson, coming through? And he comes through. Listen, he earned the love of the people in no time. In absolute no time. CJ Gardner-Johnson signs with the team, and the first thing this brother posts is a picture of Josh Allen with the grill in his mouth saying, hey, we here now, Buffalo. He is talking to us. He's saying, bro, then we're here to make things happen. I'm here to come to Buffalo so we can win. And boy, when he came in, put that bang. Listen, this thing has already got 21,000, 1.3 million views on this thing. Bro, he's already earned the love of the Buffalo, hasn't even stepped on the field. Your thoughts on the addition of CJ Gardner-Johnson to the defensive backfield of these Buffalo Bills? What's good? Talk to me, Z-Bot.
First of all, did he create that GIF? Because I haven't seen it before, and it's phenomenal. I mean, I feel like I would have seen that before if it existed before. If it hasn't, I don't know where he got it from. I absolutely love it.
That's sick. That's T-shirt worthy right there.
No question. Couldn't you see you fade that picture out so where it's like silver on a black T-shirt? Oh, that would just be mint. Maybe we can we can call the powers of be and see if we can get that done.
Listen, you know what? I think I might be all over that, man. Golly, that's ill. Keep on, man. Tell me what your thoughts are, baby. Talk to me now.
Real one more thing on this. We got to be one of the easier fan bases to please. I mean, so yes. shout out to CJ Gardner-Johnson, because this is. I mean, just speaking for myself, I saw that. I'm like, I think I kind of like this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you come out with a banger like that. Us fans in Buffalo love guys who love Buffalo, who love being there. Like I just mentioned the McGovern situation. This is stuff I don't forget because I just really appreciate it. I got to give my dad credit because when he sent me the clip of McGovern, and all he said was, these are the guys you want around. And I couldn't agree more, because not only are you getting a top player at the position, but you're getting a guy that wants to be there. So much so that you're willing to leave a couple of bucks on the table to stay in Buffalo. And this is where I give Bean all the credit in the world. The thing he's best at is keeping guys like McGovern in Buffalo for less than they would have gotten elsewhere. So let's talk about CJ Gardner-Johnson here. I absolutely love this. And I'm not entirely sure why. But I think part of the reason why is I do think that he is bringing an edge to this team that they have not had in probably a decade. Is it risky? It absolutely is. And I feel like we have seen a considerable amount of risk from Brandon Bean here with the hopes that this risk pays off. You're taking a risk on Bradley Chubb with the injury history. But if it works out, that's a double-digit sack player. And if he's a double-digit sack player, that's probably going to mean you're leading the team in sacks. That's how it goes in Buffalo, typically. CJ Gardner-Johnson, phenomenal in Philly, wins a Super Bowl, big part of that really good defense out in Philly, goes to Houston, and he's only there 3 games. Apparently, an issue in the locker room. He was criticizing other players, allegedly, talking about their contracts, talking about the scheme, whatever. Goes to Chicago. Didn't hear much about that afterwards. But let's talk about what we're getting right now and what his mindset might be right now. I watched his press conference earlier today. The amount of times he referenced how he just wants to win.
Yep.
He kept referencing how it wasn't about the money. And sometimes guys just say that. The demeanor I'm getting from this guy, I think that's what it is. I think that there's guys that are issues in the locker room because they're just issues in general. Mm-hmm. Then I think there's guys that might ruffle feathers in the locker room because they just want to win. They just want the guy next to him and every other guy to do their damn job. There's guys that want every single guy out there to give 110%. And I think that's the vibe I'm getting from CJ Gardner-Johnson. I'm not getting this vibe that he's a bad guy. I'm getting the vibe that he might get in your face, or he might get in the coach's face or whoever's face, because he wants to win. You know, I go back to Travis Kelce. I mean, he's in Andy Reid's face. Didn't they got into it one time?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, Brady forever. There's a difference between that and guys that are causing issues off the field, right? Getting into legal trouble, whatever. I don't think this is when we're talking about, oh, he could be a locker room issue. It's not that. I think what it is a guy that has an insatiable desire to win. And I think that's why he came to Buffalo. And he even referenced that. And you see, obviously, the affinity he has for Josh Allen. And I think he knows that this is a team he can come in to and not only win with, but have a big impact on their ability to win on that side of the ball. He said the linebackers coach for Buffalo, he worked with him back in New Orleans as well. That was part of it. But I think we're getting a dog here, Rico. And I think a down year last year with a bit of a black eye on what happened in Houston is kind of lowering expectations. But I think that's also what allowed Brandon Beane to get him in here for $6 million on a one-year deal. There's also something to be said about a guy who's got to prove it. There's something to be said about a guy that's got to prove it, and that's what he's got to do on a one-year deal. He's got to prove that he's not the locker room issue that people have made him out to be. That what happened, in Houston, it was an anomaly, right? This guy has proven in his career that he can be an absolute ball hawk, that he can be a game changer on that side of the ball. He talked about how he's excited to work with Cole Bishop. He referenced Blankenship working next to him and kind of the tenacity that you're going to be getting from Cole Bishop there. So I am excited about this move, Rico. I do think this is a move that would not have been made with Sean McDermott at head coach. I find this to be the first signal of the new era of the Buffalo Bills in some ways. I do. You know, the Bradley Chubb move, that kind of felt familiar, didn't it? It did have shades of a Von move, of a Bosa move, just the type of move it was, right? This move in particular, I don't think gets done. And I thought this, and I go online, and I saw a ton of people sharing the same thoughts as me, where this was like, oh, this is just not a move that gets done with McDermott. And somebody commented something, I think it was on maybe my TikTok, that I'd made a video about CJ Gardner-Johnson, and they said, when you go into a locker room that's already very well built, culture's really good, and maybe you had issues in the locker room in the past, when you go into that type of locker room, it gets corrected. And I feel like there's something to be said about that, because you're going to be the outlier really quick if you're causing problems in Buffalo, really quick. And I feel like he wants to come in and win. The last thing that he wants to do is cause issues to get into the way of that. So really what it all comes down to, Rico, if he can just keep a level head, and I think he's going to, I think Beane really got a good one here for a one-year deal on $6 million bucks.
You couldn't have said it any better, brother. And there's not much for it. Listen, let's end the show. Let's end the show right now. Call it a day. Good night, folks, because that's it. Bro, I'm telling you right now, here's my thing. There's a few things that I want to touch on, and I'm excited. Let me just share my thoughts on CJ Gardner-Johnson, because that is the type of player that I've been crying for. And folks in the chat, if you guys have been watching me long enough, you guys have heard me say this. We don't have the dogs on this team. I've screamed this from the rooftops. You guys have heard me say this many times. Vouch for me, because you guys know I have.
No, let me vouch for you. I was just going to say, even before you said that, you've been on this forever, to the point where you were even saying this about Allen, where you're like, I want to see Allen get into some guys' grills on the sideline.
Bro, I've been on it. There's something about that guy on your team that he's got a couple screws loose, but he knows how to toe the line. Right? Charles Haley was that dude, right? You did not mess with anybody on his squad, because you're going to get it. Charles Haley don't play no games. Go to the NBA. Rodman, he had one job to do, and he wasn't afraid of nobody. He played with the Detroit Pistons, and then came to Chicago. They said, yo, we need a guy like that. And when Rodman came through to play Chicago, bro, things changed. There was a little nastiness, a little bit of grit that was brought to the team. CJ Gardner-Johnson, I don't want to overhype it, but he gives you that grit, that nastiness that Buffalo has been missing for a long time, which brings me to this video that I got to play y'all. First of all, CJ Gardner-Johnson was asked about, what he's going to bring to this defense. And he couldn't have said it better, because that's what we've been missing. I got you ball hawk ability. I give you physicality. I bring you the ability, and this is what I love the most, the ability to toe the line but never cross it. Play feisty, but you got to play with that passion and chip on your shoulder. When's the last Buffalo Bill that you saw that played with a nastiness and chip on the shoulder? I will tell you right now, defensively, I always used to say it. Jordan Poyer was the guy that stood out to me. That was like, that's the one guy that played with true heart. Milano could give you that, but he was a quiet guy. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing, but you needed a guy that got it going. So Poyer was that guy. Now, CJ Johnson coming to the squad, I love. Which brought me to this, which had me kind of like, you know what I mean? It pinched a nerve, if you will. I don't want to call it pinch a nerve, but it kind of got me thinking, right? So, and I know a lot of folks, I don't like Emmanuel Ocho, but Emmanuel Ocho had something to say the other day, and I saw no lies explained. And I'm going to play this clip. It's about a minute long, but I don't think you've heard it yet, Bot. So nope. I'm gonna play this for you real quick, play this for everybody else. And you guys let me know, because then I'm going to share something that goes down.
I think they've done a really, really, really good job. DJ Moore, really, really good addition. You know what you're going to get in DJ Moore. He's going to give you 1,000 yards. He might give you 1,100. Hopefully he gives you up to 1,300. I see 1,100 yards. If we're really talking about the Bills, though, the thing they have lacked defensively, and y'all know me, I know my defense, if I can be blunt, they have lacked an enforcer. Milano, good linebacker. Bernard, good linebacker. They not enforcers. They're not bangers. Ain't nobody worried about coming across the middle and seeing Milano, seeing Bernard. Taylor Rapp, good safety. Not enforcer. Jordan Poyer, really, really, really good safety over the years. He's not an enforcer. Micah Hyde, my dog had neck issues. He's not an enforcer. Tre'Davious White, that's the homie. He's not an enforcer. They haven't had enforcers. Somebody on defense got to scare you. Somebody on defense got to make T at least think, if I run this slant, how long of a massage am I going to have to book tomorrow? If I run this slant, am I going to have to go to get dry needled or acupuncture? Mm-hmm. If I run this slant, is my Erosti therapist available at 10:30 a.m. on Monday?
How many dew wipes I'm going to need?
Something.
Yeah.
Like, the Bills have never had a dude put fear in your heart. That's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, even for the Philadelphia Eagles the year they won the Super Bowl, was the enforcer.
So I think they've done it. I bring that up because former Bill Darrington Evans, right, had something to say and says, that's a bad take. That's an awful take. I don't believe that. And he had a few things to say beyond that. But I didn't see anything that Ocho said that was wrong, except for I like Jordan Poyer. I've always said I had total respect for, Jordan Poyer. And then Darrington Evans comes in and says, that's a terrible take as usual. I love CJ. That's the homie. But he is that. But to say Buffalo has never had to say that Buffalo has never had that guy that goes to show you that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking about Emmanuel Ocho. But no, Darrington Evans, you haven't been around long enough in Buffalo to know what has been here. So then I started thinking, what Buffalo player and you're a young buck yourself. What Buffalo player do you remember that, bro, if you go across the middle, that brother's going to hit you, and I love that guy? Do you remember anybody? Because I'm going to share you. There's a list that I have I got 4, maybe a 5th, but I got 4 of them. And this goes for the chat. Y'all let me know if there's anybody that stands out to you. And if you don't, I'll keep it running. So I started thinking. I was like, who on those Bills that back in the day, and I'm not going back to the 90s. I'm going 2000s and up, okay? There was a guy by the name of Dante Whitner, top 10 pick. We used to call him Dante Hitner because when you came across that middle, you going to get it. Go ask the San Francisco 49ers how they felt about Dante Hitner. Boy, that boy go ask Pierre Thomas how it feels when he comes across the middle. That boy got knocked the hell out, all right? That's number 1. Number 2, Nigel Bradham. I don't know if you guys remember Nigel Bradham. I loved Nigel Bradham. Now, I was absolutely upset when they sent him off. They said, we're not going to bring you back. Then he went to Philly. Boy, that boy he could give it to you. Takeo Spikes. Do not play. Listen, I had to go back to the 2000s. And then I have Jordan Poyer on my list because I love Jordan Poyer, right? But those guys, you knew. You came across the middle, well, you're going to feel something. When's the last time you felt something from anybody in the Buffalo Bills in the defense going across the middle? Bro, we bit, bro, the amount of big plays that's happened in our secondary because there ain't nobody there to kind of be the enforcer, it's a problem. So now you have somebody like that Gardner-Johnson that has no fear, and he will lay the boom. And I love what Cole Bishop is giving us right now, because now you have 2 safeties in the back that, you better pick your poison. So if we can add to that dynamic of that defense in this kind of chaotic defense that's coming our way with the 3-4 defense led by Jim Leonard. Bro, listen, we could have something nice. I don't want to get over and above myself, but I bring this up because there hasn't been that enforcer on defense. And call it what you want. Maybe McDermott was like, I don't want that nastiness. I kind of want to sound fundamental. You get to it. Bro, sometimes you gotta go outside the box a little bit. And outside the box, I think we did this with CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's an outside the box signing for us. So come on with it, my man. So I like so far what the defensive backfield could look like with Max Harrison on one side. You got our guy Christian Benford on the other side. You got the two boys on the back end. Fix that middle of that linebacking defense and that defensive front, boy. We could have something real nice. So CJ Gardner-Johnson brings something nice to the defense. And here's I love when people do this. Keep dreaming, Rico. Paul, my guy. These are the people that make these comments are the same guys who can be like, woo! Did you see that? What a signing. Talk a lot of that ish now, but later on, they be the same ones doing one of these. Man, I love it and I hate it at the same time. And Paul, I'm not coming for you. It's just I've seen that too often. So this is something that we should be at least, I wouldn't say praising, but we should be looking at this encouraged that we're kind of going outside the traditional Bills move box. This is not a signing that we normally do. So this should be something that we should be encouraged about. So big shout out to Bean for that. And now we can kind of start to see what this defense could potentially look like. And now we can have someone that's going to match Josh Allen on the one side of on the offense, which is DJ Moore and James Cook. And now we can start to kind of see where things are going to come out. I'm encouraged. I'm very encouraged. So let's see what Bills Mafia has got.
Speaking of that back end as well, CJ Gardner-Johnson said that D. Alford's one of the coldest youngins he's seen in a bit. Said he was excited to play with him. I mean, listen, I don't know who his PR guy is, or maybe he's just damn good at it, because you drop the Josh Allen grill meme, and then you're telling me that the other latest addition to this Bills backfield is somebody you can't wait to play with because you think he's one of the better young guys in the league. So I'm in on it. I mean, the tenacity part of it is I think, I love that clip you shared from Emmanuel Acho. I think that he nailed it because I feel like it is something that has been lacking to some degree. Yep. We've talked about this before. It's something that's been lacking in the NFL over recent years, it really throughout the league. I think it's because it has been ruled out of the league in a lot of ways, the ability to be the enforcer. But, this is a guy that's known to run his jaw out on the field, which I love. It's what we love about Allen. What we love about Deion Dawkins. I really do like that angle of it. It just, if you got to keep it contained to a degree, right? It can't blossom into an issue with your teammates. But I am all for getting in the grill of the opponent and all that stuff. I'm all about it because I find that that's something that's lacking league wide, and it certainly has been lacking in Buffalo. And if you're backing it up with good play too, that's going to trickle down through the whole rest of the unit too.
Think about it. That one play, although it wasn't a physical play, but sometimes it just takes a hit, a tackle, a big play to kind of juice everybody up. Going up against the Bengals, when Benford came in and took that pick six, took it back to the house, boy, did we were. This was a drive that was probably supposed to kind of drag on, and then they'll probably end up with 3, and then we're down by, I think at the time, would have been down by 7 or by 10. I can't recall. That interception turned the game around. Sometimes a big hit up the middle can turn a game around and juice everybody up. So that's why you need that. You need that mixture of nastiness and leadership on the squad, and he brings you both. So big, huge signing by the Bills. And hopefully this pans out the way we need it to. 20 interceptions is not something to scoff at. 20 interceptions in 7 years. Nothing to scoff at. He's got 2 years of 6 interceptions in his career. So that that he knows how to be around the football. You love that. Now, being on several different teams, we have to talk about that as well. Your thoughts on him go into a team. And
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin, and I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
You're a pro at running your life, at committing to your workout, at showing up every day. At Bombas, we're pros too. Pros at making socks. Our sport assortment has specialized socks for whatever sport you're committed to. Running, hiking, golf, Pilates, and so much more. Made with sweat-wicking yarns, blister-fighting details, and targeted arch support. Bombas Sport is pro-level socks from the pros of socks. For another pro, you. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code audio for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com and use code audio.
The team saying, yeah, you know what? It was cool. Yeah, we going to look another direction. We're going to look another direction because I don't know if I need all that. Your thoughts on that, the stigma that's attached to CJ Gardner-Johnson's name? Because, yes, we know he can play, but then you got that whole other side. Are you bothered at all by that? Are you kind of like, oh, I don't know about this one?
I mean, you have to be bothered about it a little bit because you literally force your way out of a new team 3 games in, and you're on a defense that was probably the best in the NFL in the Houston Texans. So that is kind of an interesting aspect of it. I also do one thing here, though. I do think what really changes the tone of a team beyond just the play on the field. I feel like what changes the tone in terms of how you act is the quarterback. And I feel like when you were on a team with Tom Brady, like you act up, you're going to be gone. We don't need it. We have Tom Brady on the team. It's not going to be tolerated. Doesn't it seem like this stuff often goes on when you have a quarterback that you don't necessarily have the full faith in propelling you over the top? I don't know why I get that vibe. I always have. I feel like when you go to a team with Josh Allen, you can't be the one outlier guy who's causing issues because you're just going to be gone. So once again, it's a 1-year deal for CJ Gardner-Johnson, and you're in a position to win. This is about as good of a position you're going to be in if you want to win, which is clearly what he wants to do. He referenced it nonstop. He just wants to win. He wants to win. He wants to win. Right. You can't put that opportunity in jeopardy. And I know what happened in Houston is not a great look. Criticizing teammates allegedly, had issues with his personal role, the scheme, forced his way out of there, essentially. But there's something to be said about coming to Buffalo where the culture that is instilled is just not going to tolerate that. And I feel like you have to have the fortitude going into this to know that. And I feel like you don't put yourself in a situation on a 1-year deal where you're going to a place that is going to allow you to fulfill exactly what you're after, and that's win football games. I just feel as though the setting, the team, the quarterback, I'm by the way, somebody who, as I usually, this is one of the things I liked about McDermott. I don't like adding potential distractions, but from what I've seen here, like, once again, the issues seem to be more rooted in wanting to do things that would better the team, at least in his opinion, to win. I don't see issues here that are broader issues that could wind up getting the Bills in hot water or could wind up, putting a black eye on the team.
Yep.
I feel like we have more of a grit and tenacity here that just didn't work out in Houston. We will find out, obviously, but I'm giving him a chance here because I do feel like the guy just wants to win, and I think that's what you're not going to find another quarterback in the league who wants to win more than Josh Allen. So I feel like once again, back to my quarterback point, the desire is going to be matched. What CJ Gardner wants is what the leader of this team wants. It's what they all want. And obviously nobody wants to win more right now than Brandon Beane and Joe Brady because they got a lot to prove at this point, taking over the team now post Sean McDermott. So
yep.
I think you're walking into a pretty good spot here if you're CJ Gardner-Johnson.
And you said it earlier, right? You know he wants to win. So he's already got that passion in him. He's also been winning the fan base. And we talked about that. There is a clip of him explaining, and you said it, man. Like, well, who's this PR squad? Because he just knows exactly what to say and what to do. Well, he explains the viral, right? Josh in the grill, do one of these. It explains how it came about. So I haven't listened to it yet. We're about to find out how he came about that.
Hey, CJ, I just wanted to circle back one thing. You're talking about Josh earlier. A lot of people.
Side note, I just love when people say circle back. Let's circle back to what we talked about there.
It's a very corporate saying.
So corporate. All right.
Hey, CJ, I just wanted to circle back one thing. You're talking about Josh earlier. A lot of people, over 1 million, saw the tweet of Josh with the grill yesterday. How quickly do you have that one ready to fire off?
Good question.
Okay, so actually I was looking for the people that jumped through the table one. But it was like when I put Bills Mafia, the first thing popped up was Josh Allen and Grills. And
really?
I'm in Houston, and Johnny Dame is down the street. So it was like, oh, that's a good kind of tweet. Kind of make one that's, and it fits him. It's like, what would Josh Allen look like with a real diamond grill? That'd be sick, right?
That's
you might be able to convince him.
He's batting 100 right now.
Oh yeah,
maybe you get it.
He knows what he's doing.
Win a Super Bowl, get him a diamond grill, right?
I was just gonna say, I didn't even know he said that. I was just gonna say right now, if they win it, you better believe you will see Allen in the grill. That is an absolute fact.
Listen, this Allen in a grill is like Kirk Cousins in the chain. You know what I mean? So you put that brother in a grill. I mean, listen, it's no different. It pretty much is Trevor Lawrence. When they put Trevor Lawrence in there, Trevor Lawrence had that grill. They made that grill up. Yo, Josh Allen go be in that
Kirk
grill
Cousins.
Too. You got Kirk. Yo, listen, put those three guys on a t-shirt, right? You got Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, and Trevor Lawrence chained up with the grill. Boy, that'd be a badass t-shirt. Only if my man, if he can get a spot, Kirk Cousins can get on a spot and play. That'd be dope. But yeah, man. I mean, listen, CJ Gardner-Johnson is doing all of the right things right now. Right. Things can change very quickly, but I'm in that camp where, bro, I think he understands there's a stigma attached to him, so he's not trying to be some guy that moves around year after year after year, because it's difficult to keep moving city from city to city. This might be one of those locker rooms. This might be one of the cities. This might be a team that he's like, bro, this is just the right thing I need for me, right? This is the right scenario, scenery, the teammates, the way this locker room is, the way this place is. I'm going into a new stadium. Bro, I'm trying to be here. Yeah. I like it here. And that's what most folks do. They come to Buffalo and they're like, bro, I've been hearing all this stuff about snow, this, that, and the third. Man, bump the snow. I love this place. And that will get him into a multi-year deal where now we have him and Cole. He's only 28 years old. And Cole Bishop's, 23, 24, 25? Bro, that could be a nice little tandem. Now, I might be getting ahead of myself here.
I don't think you are, because you know what he said? You know what CJ Gardner said? He said that essentially Buffalo is just about ball. It's just ball. He even referenced the hockey, where he's talking about the fact that the city is essentially synonymous with ball, football, puck, whatever. It's sports, and that's pretty much where the buck stops. He even alluded to the similarities of it being a college town in a way, where it's kind of going back to college, where it's sports, and that's that. And this is the one thing that I think is underappreciated about Buffalo. How often do you see people criticize going to Buffalo? Who the hell would want to go to Buffalo? Who would want to deal with that weather? And then how many times do you see guys actually end up in Buffalo and they're like, I love it here. The city's great. It's all about football. These fans are unbelievable. All they care about is the team. They're so invested. They're so bought in. It's the best fan base of anywhere. You got a city that literally lives and breathes what you guys are doing out on the field. That doesn't seem to be lost on CJ Gardner-Johnson. He literally alluded to the fact that the city is all about the ball. And guess who's also about ball? All about ball. From what I can tell, it's CJ Gardner-Johnson. I want to win. I want to win. It's not about money. It's not about money. It's about, it's about the game. It's about the game. Once again, some guys just say that. I'm not getting that vibe from him at all. It feels like exactly what he's looking for is exactly what the city of Buffalo is going to be able to provide for him.
This is breaking news. The Bills have signed. Okay, you want to talk about something now, boy? We got something.
Oh,
the Bills have just signed free agent Geno freaking Stone. To a 1-year deal, 14 career interceptions, 21 pass breakups, and it will be a key contributor on the Bills defense. Bro, this is a name that I've seen circulating. Now, why isn't this safety picked up? Why isn't Geno Stone picked up on the squad? Bro, this is a low-key fire pickup by Bean. Bro, going back-to-back safety? This is big. This is a big addition to the Bills' defensive backfield. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Geno Stone as one of the next additions to the Bills' defensive backfield. Bro, this is a big move. For those that are, a lot of folks are probably kind of wondering, like, who is this guy? But if you look at what people are saying, man, this is a very solid pickup for this defense. Here's the theme that you guys have to understand. We want turnovers. The Bills want turnovers. Give the ball back to Josh. The year before, we were one of the league leaders. We had, 32 takeaways, 16 fumble recoveries, and 16 interceptions. Last year, we didn't take the ball nearly away as much as we needed to be defensively in games. A lot of times I heard the guy saying, we wouldn't be in this game if not for the defense taking the ball away. Bingo, that's the point. The point is to take the ball away and give it back to Josh. And now you get 2 ball hawking safeties in that damn defensive backfield. Boy, that tells me we're about to put pressure on these quarterbacks. You're going to have to throw that duck up, and one of us is coming down with that. Boy, we get nasty on that defensive backfield. We are getting nasty. Hey, Brandon Beane, I'm not on your side yet. I'm still very, very much, you know what I'm saying, keep going. But I see what's happening. This is where Brandon Beane gets in his bag. And we all know this, right? Spending big money on big time players, you know what I'm saying? He's hit and miss. But when it comes to bargain binning, give him his credit. He's good at bargain binning. He's been doing it so long, he better be good at it, right? It's like people going thrifting. Some people just don't go big box store shopping. They go to the thrift stores and they just know how to find gems, right? Oh, and this is Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane has this ability to kind of, when the dust settles, this is where he kind of pick and choose who he wants. So D'Alford, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and now Geno Stone. Very big pickup for the Buffalo Bills. Your thoughts? I know you probably don't know too much about Geno Stone, but on just adding another safety and a ball hawking one at that. What are your thoughts?
Well, the interesting thing about Geno Stone is his best ball was played in Baltimore. It was a dip in production in Cincinnati, but is that because of the fact that Cincinnati's defense in totality was just horrid? Cincinnati has one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Was the individual play, or at least the individual result, a product of the entirety of the defense? Because as we know, year in and year out, for the most part, Baltimore pretty damn good on the defensive side of the ball. If you go back and look what Geno Stone has done throughout his career, his best football were the 4 years in Baltimore before going to Cincinnati. So was it a drop-off because you were in a defense that was getting ran all over? The Cincinnati Bengals had the worst run defense in the NFL, and I feel like that then allows for the pass game to get widely broken open. So this is interesting. And the fact that you're going double dip at safety, and I think Brandon Beane is doing what a lot of us thought he was going to do this offseason. You go and get one marquee receiver, and the rest of the moves have been entirely on the defensive side of the ball. And I feel like this is what you and I were kind of in lockstep with, too. We thought this would be the approach. It was kind of the approach last year, minus the big addition offensively for the most part, right? And it's because it has to happen. You're also going into a whole new era of defense here with Jim Leonard, a whole new scheme. So you're now acquiring primarily defensive players outside of the big acquisition of DJ Moore, which I'm in on, by the way. I know a lot of people get frustrated about continuously going after defense over the recent years here, but I mean, watch what's going on and you will understand why they're having to do this, because they need to address. We've talked about this before. If the Bills can just go from outside of the top 10 in total defense to just inside of the top 10 of total defense, that small margin of that small gap or wide gap, however large it is, each and every year, if that can be narrowed based on what the offense gives you routinely, annually, every year, it really could ultimately end up being the difference. If you can go from the 12th overall scoring offense to the 8th overall score, or excuse me, you can go from the 12th overall scoring defense to the 8th overall scoring defense, I think it's a world of difference for a team that's winning anywhere between 11 to 14 games a year. It could be the addition of one extra game you win when it matters most. So Brandon Beane putting a lot of chips on the defensive side of the ball in the areas that, of course, needed to be addressed. Now you're getting two safeties. Back to the situation in regard to CJ Gardner-Johnson. All the more reason to come in and give it your best, because it's, no job is locked in on the back end here, right? So all the more reason to come in and give it your best to make sure that job is yours throughout the year.
And I'll tell you this, and I want Bills fans to understand, listen, this is just a depth piece. The two starters that should pan out to be that way should be Gardner-Johnson and as well as Cole Bishop. Geno Stone is just a depth piece. Understand that, because although he's available for a reason, let's keep it a buck all the way too. He's had his issues with missed tackles. Some Bengals fans are like, bro, he's sorry. Get him out of here. So they're like, yo, good riddance, right? They're also saying, yo, Bills fans, good luck with that. But like you said earlier, you alluded to, sometimes you're just in a bad system and it doesn't work out. Back in 23, he was one of the league leaders in interceptions. So this is one of those situations where it's creating competition, and we'll see how it flies. You need competition in these. So now your safety room looks like Cole Bishop, Johnson, Geno Stone, and Hancock, unless I'm missing someone, because we had to replace the likes of Cam Lewis. Cam Lewis is gone. So now Geno Stone comes in. So there's a lot of things that, we have to replace some guys. And Geno Stone is not a bad player. He's a fine player and a starter in this league before. So now you've got guys that have started that are in your backfield. This is great. This is fantastic. So great depth. I'm not saying this is amazing signing, but it's good depth signing. So if you're in a pinch where you need to put somebody in there, you're not having to say, oh man, this guy's awful. Because I'll tell you right now, when Hancock had to go in, at one point, he was a liability. This boy was getting cooked. He was getting turned around. It's a rookie. He's young. It's going to happen. So you have guys like him that can get the job done. And that also tells me DeMar Hamlin ain't coming back. Right? We don't got to play
thinking the same thing.
We don't got to play this game anymore. We ain't got to play the game. The game's over. Okay? Game over. He can go do his thing wherever he gets signed, if he decides to play, if he doesn't. But right now, this is gonna be something cool. This is gonna be something cool. So the Bills are listen, man. This is where Brandon Beane, this is where he comes in and does his thing. So Brandon Beane has added to the safety room Geno Stone, Gardner-Johnson, back-to-back days, back-to-back safeties. What else is Mr. Beane up to? And we're about to find out shortly. And we'll see. He's got some more breaking news for us this afternoon.
There have been some significant changes to the Buffalo Bills, as you can well see, but there's also been some significant changes to the numbers in which these Buffalo Bills play or wear. Several number changes, Rico. Now, the new additions, here are the numbers they'll be wearing. CJ Gardner-Johnson wearing my favorite number of all time, number 22. Yep. We have Bradley Chubb. He'll be rocking number 9. DJ Moore will be rocking number 2. So that means the current number 2 in Buffalo needs a new number. That would be Tyler Bass. This one's going to take some getting used to. Tyler Bass will be wearing the number 16 this upcoming year. Another one that's going to take some getting used to, because you heard me say the number 22. That's going to be going to CJ Gardner-Johnson. That means our beloved backup running back Ray Davis has to change his number. He's going single digits, Rico. Number 7 for Ray Davis. And then Greg Rousseau, Groot, going from your classic defensive lineman, edge rusher type number to 15. I'll tell you, the teens on the D-line, Rico, I cannot get used to. I cannot get used to it.
Are you the old man, get off my lawn? Like, don't do that. You're messing up the game. Take the numbers you're supposed to. Receivers in the 80s, running backs in the 20s, kickers in the single digits. Bro, I'm not with that. Take the number that is sick. And I like, look at this. You know what number
look
6? That 4-month-old baby. Number 4.
Yes. I was going to say, speaking of numbers, Zoe Jane, 4 months old. Yesterday went to her 4-month doctor's checkup today. They said, you know what they said, Rico? She's taking after her dad. She's too smart. She's too smart. She's too handsome. They said, you got to get her out of here. She's too good.
She's too cute. She's too cute.
She's way too cute. Now, Zoe, what do you make of T-Bass? Now, you want to talk about old man get off your lawn. I can't get used to a kicker wearing teens. Like Brandon Aubrey wears Josh Allen's number. You know, growing up, I'm thinking of my kickers here. I'm thinking Adam Vinatieri. You know, I'm thinking Sebastian Janikowski. I'm thinking, well, Janikowski was a single digit, right? He was. I think
he was. I started thinking Janikowski too. Vinatieri. Was Vinatieri double digits?
No, he wore number 4.
Number 4. Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of 4, right? So yeah. That's I don't know. I'm not old man get off my lawn with some of them. I do like the single digits for the receivers. I don't mind them for the running back. D-line in the teens, though, Rico, that's one where it's just like watching Micah Parsons, the same type of thing. It's like, it's tough to get used to. You know, I'm used to watching, you know, the 50s seem right for those type of guys.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I am for guys changing their numbers. I don't mind linebacker at 0. That doesn't bother me. It's just, well,
zero's fire. Anyone rocking 0. I mean, 0 is like the coldest number.
0 at the safety position, 0 at linebacker. I don't like quite 0 at a receiver. I'm not a fan of that. But there are some. Janikowski wore 11, double digits.
Oh, wow. Okay, then I'm contradicting myself completely.
Listen, I like this. Double digits for a kicker. The kickers are insignificant. We don't give a rat's ass. You can wear 98. I don't care. Just kick the damn ball between the 2 uprights and call it a day. You don't have to have a sexy number. Give the number to someone that is going to do some good things. So number 2, wrap it up. Give it to number 2.
How about I brought up 2 kickers, by the way, one of which completely contradicted what I was trying to say. So how about that? Shout out to me. That's phenomenal. Great work.
Gotta love it. But listen, I'll take this, man. I'm all in. Bass 16, love it. Russo 15, I don't love it so much.
I don't.
It's a weird number for me, but I think that's what he had in college. Ray Davis, I absolutely hate this number for him at running back. Not a fan. Doesn't do it for me. Right, reminds me very much of who was the bald cat that came out of Jacksonville, running back, and then came the Bills for a bit.
Oh,
Leonard Fournette. Fournette.
Yeah.
Never liked it. Never liked number 7 for running back.
And then ETN wears 7, right? I think. Yeah, speaking of Jags running backs, who's no longer a Jags running back.
Cole Hardman Jr., number 1. If you're gonna listen, I wore number 1 as a football player, and when you wear number 1, it comes with big responsibility. It's big responsible number. And if you're gonna don that number, you better come with it. So McCall Harmon, you better make the team number 1. That's number 1. Make the team. D. Alford taking number 23-year-old Aaron Williams number. Love that. And you got Chubb. Now this I love. Number 9 has always been. If I'm not number 1, I've always been number 9. Number 9 just sits well. So I hope that Chubb represents this number very well. And then Josh Allen changing his number to number 11. How do you feel about that?
They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, making that the first one on there. Shout out to the Bills admin. That was good work. That was good work.
Yeah, you gotta love it. So kudos to these boys. They really handled it, and they've changed their numbers. I just hope. Listen, damn all the numbers. Just perform, and then CJ Gardner-Johnson gets number 22. So he gets his old number. DJ Moore gets his number. Let's roll. And now that we got that out of the way, now we get to see who's going to do what and go from there. By the way, number 11, guys, is not Josh Allen, is Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen.
Once again, they knew exactly what they were doing. And shout out to them. You got to love a little, you got to have a little fun every now and then. That was good work.
You certainly do. So yeah, those are the number changes. So you are the old man that says, hey, quit changing your numbers, because I know there's a lot of people that hate it. They just can't stand it. If you're going to change your number, change it to something that is like, that works. Like number 7 as a running back. Like if you went number 5, okay, I can rock with that. 6, but
well,
7?
you know what? I will say though, when James Cook changed his number, like, could you imagine him wearing anything but 4 now? So like, I feel like it's one of those things you get used to, and then you're like,
you might be right. You might be on something.
So I don't know.
You might be on something. So before we get out of here, we're going to read some super chats. But where do you see Bean going next?
Well, you know what?
Where is he? What do you got? What do you think?
When I heard that Mike Evans was interested, let me just say this: if you want to laugh, I mean, if you want to belly laugh,
Mike Evans, because you wanted to talk about that. This is.
I just wanted to, I saw that he was interested in Buffalo. He was considering his options, right? Well, what else is new? Apparently, everyone was interested in Buffalo, and you know how that goes. But, he said that he wanted to go to a contender. He wanted to play with a good quarterback. He mentioned in his San Francisco press conference that he was, looking at Buffalo.
Okay.
And, essentially, you could look at that as, do you want to go play with Josh Allen, or do you want to go play with Brock Purdy? So if you want to laugh as hard as possible, I made a video about this over on TikTok. You have just go to it, go to my TikTok, go to the comments section. You got to read what these Niners fans are saying. Like, I made this in like a tongue-in-cheek way where I'm like, Evans, he's choosing Purdy, but obviously he's played in warm weather forever. And, it just, maybe that was where he said it was at the top of his list of his research or whatever. You got to see what these Niners fans are saying. And it just goes ahead and paints the perfect picture of the delusion of the fan, right? You can go to my comment section on TikTok right now and see.
I'm trying to load it up right now.
Dozens of 49ers fans legitimately telling me that the decision, should it have only been based on quarterback, was the sound decision for Mike Evans to go with Purdy over Allen. I mean, and what people are saying, Allen chokes in the playoffs. Purdy's been to a Super Bowl. Purdy scored 6 points against the Seahawks in the divisional round last year. And I just think it's a perfect social experiment that allows you to understand that people, when you hear these insane takes that you feel like no one could possibly actually believe that. No, like there is a sizable amount of people that legitimately believe stuff like this. Legitimately believe it. Yes, it is unbelievable. It'll never not bog my mind.
So I'm trying to figure out where you.
Oh, it's that one. Just go to the comment section. The fourth one into the right.
Oh, there it is.
If you were a wide receiver, so look at the comment section.
Brock all day,
every day.
Purdy, you have to add that you have to have the Shanahan effect. Allen is great QB in the regular season.
Look at that one. QB one in the yeah.
But Purdy cranks it up in the playoffs. Evan wants the ring. Probably picked the system and the QB, then the QB. Get out of here with that. He looked at it and said, "Hey, if this is my swan, like this is it, I'm gonna be in a place where it's not cold. But if you're really trying to win, you don't go to San Fran. You just don't."
You know what I mentioned, and I genuinely feel this. When I saw the contract come out, I was jealous. I would have loved for the Bills to have gotten Mike Evans on a $14 million annual deal. I would have loved that. You could have done that with DJ Moore. You absolutely could have made that work alongside. I even admitted, I jealous. Yes, I would have loved it for $14 million to get Mike Evans in Buffalo.
I mean, it's cool to get about $14 million, but listen, you don't know how long he's going to last you. He might last you 6 games, and it's a wrap. And now you're back to whomever is catching the ball, Ricky Pearsall, and I don't know who. So go figure. I mean, listen, I want him to have a good year because I like when players actually play and that have success. You don't want him to just get bummed out. No, you don't want that. You want him to play. But I think I like where DJ Moore is. DJ Moore gave me the impression that I'm not bothered by that. I'm not that diva because we don't want that diva in our system that we're ready to say, okay, we're done with that. He gives me no diva whatsoever. Yo, if the game plan is to run the football, I'm going to block my ass off. That's what he gives me. And I love that about it. By the way, would you bring back Stephon Diggs?
No way.
Would you even consider it?
No.
DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Khalil Shakir.
You can't do it.
Josh Palmer.
You cannot do it.
Coleman.
Not a chance in hell.
Throw Stephon Diggs in there?
0 chance.
Because the problem was
there's not a thing you could say to me right now.
The problem wasn't wasn't the quarterback. The problem was the head coach. Head coach is not there anymore.
No way.
I'm not baiting you.
No chance.
No way. All right, let's get into super chats and then we can get out of here real quick. We got our guy, Mr. Led Robster. What up, Money
Mitch?
Says Money Mitch says, yo, there is no way Johnson gets signed if McDermott is the head coach. We are in a new era, boys. Appreciate you, boys, for your coverage and analysis. Buffalo Fanatics is the best channel on YouTube. Sabres are the best on the ice. Let me give you some of that. Hey,
they finally lost last night. They finally lost. I hadn't seen that. It was unbelievable. It was almost like pigs were flying. That's how long it's been since they've lost. It felt like.
Jeez, that's a good sign. All right, my guy Dan Brown. What up, Danny? Dan Brown comes in and says, "Hey, man, can we talk about how most Bills posts on Twitter are just fans who piss and moan because we didn't sign Max Crosby or Jefferson, and we do sign someone they complain about money? It's wild." Listen, man, we've addressed it at length. We understand it. We're a passionate fan base. But once the dust settles and the roster's created and it's made up and we have our top 51, let's play ball. Let's play ball.
I'm glad Dan said this because it's something I wanted to say earlier. I was going to say, if I didn't have a Twitter account, would my excitement level be substantially higher with everything that's done? And the answer would be yes. Because when you see, Bean was making calls on Crosby. Bean was making calls on Trey Hendrickson. Bean was in the mix at the trade deadline for such and such a wide receiver. Then it gets in your head, and then you're like, then you see the Bills could be in the mix to trade for Justin Jefferson, the quarterback. If I didn't have that, and I just had to come to my own conclusions, which of course I would still want all these guys.
Yep.
But if it wasn't in your face all the time,
yep,
then I feel like, yes. I saw someone say this a couple of days ago where they're like, it feels like nothing. Like it was after Bam Adebayo scored his 83, and somebody said it doesn't feel like anything's historic anymore because of how quick we just move off everything. So I feel like it would feel a lot more substantial if you weren't on there constantly reading about, well, they were in on this, they were in on that. And I know I'm a victim of that as much as anybody.
You're absolutely right about that. And I'll tell you this, because before, these things are so readily available to us, and we have people. And then what makes it worse is they create scenarios that it's possible. Because they would have to do this and this and this, and this is how you can gain this said player on your team. And you're like, bro, if this guy can do it, Bean, get on it. It's possible. And then we work this thing up in our brains where it was never on the forefront for Brandon Bean in the first place. So it's just the way the world we live in. But you're right, man. Things happen so quickly, we move on. We're desensitized to greatness, things that happen. Like, I'm pissed that Buddy scored 83. I'm a hater because my guy scored 81, Kobe Bryant. I want that thing to last forever. But it's just what it is, right? I should be saying great job, but I'm not.
Speaking of hater, Bomb, he's a hater. Z-Bot, you're not the GM, thank God. Typical media guy calling shots. Tell you right now, Bomb, Justin Jefferson would be a Bill if I were the GM. Now, granted, we probably wouldn't have a full roster, but I'll be damned. I'll be damned if Allen wasn't throwing the ball to Justin Jettis. I'll tell you that right now. We might not be able to field an entire roster, Bomb. Rest assured, we would have JJ in Buffalo.
Bomb came for your ass. All right.
But we've talked about this ad nauseum. Just from the mathematics alone, thank God I'm not the GM.
Listen, I here. Andy Johnson comes in and says, yo, ask Mike White about Milano and his bad take. Listen, man.
I said this to you off camera, by the way. Milano was the guy I thought of, but it's not the personality. It's the play on the field, but it's not the personality.
Right. And that's what comes with it. It comes with the personality. You got to have that nastiness because when you talk it, you walk it, bro, it permeates with everybody else. But don't get me wrong, there's silent assassins as well. But you need that guy that stands out there. So, folks, that's it for us. That's in the books. Friday afternoon, not a Friday night. It allows you guys to enjoy the rest of your evening. Bot, what you got going on for the rest of the weekend, bro?
Look at us keeping it at an hour. Our wives will be ecstatic. This is the first time we have ever done this, I think, ever. So this is a new milestone for us. Thank you so much to the 1,000+ of you who were able to spend it with us this weekend. We have a dinner tonight, and I don't know, whatever Zoe and Caroline want to do, I'll be doing. How about yourself?
Well, we got birthday parties. I'm actually nursing a groin injury. From yesterday. Quick story because I know you're gonna get out of here. So my son, he's 4. He's running around and he had my toque on, and we're at the top of the stairs, and he's running around with a toque on and not looking. And I was talking to the wife, and I had my back turned. I turned around, and he was headed for the stairs, and that would have been it could have been bad. And I saw it, and my quick reaction, I dropped to my knees and grabbed him just in time. And I pulled my groin, boy. And that goes to tell you how old you are. But I saved my son's life. That's what matters at the end of the day. I pulled my groin, but I saved his life. That's what matters. So your boy.
I hope you heal up.
I tell you that now.
That sounds like a nightmare. I hope you heal up.
His heart was like, you know, it's funny because, you know, sometimes when things happen to us and we play it cool.
Yeah.
At 4 years old, he knew like this was bad, but he was trying to play it cool until his mother was scolding him. And then he just burst into tears. And I was like, just take it easy. He doesn't know what could have happened with him. So you see those videos where dads save their kid when they're about to fall and they jump in and they're there and dad, superhero. Bro, give me my cake. You're
going out on top as the father of the year. And guess what? Before we end, I'm going out on top as the top GM. Because Paul's saying, Bot as GM, you'd be the Cincinnati Bills. Paul, I appreciate you telling me that the Bills would have the best wide receiver core in the NFL. You're the man. Bomb also saying at least C-Bot wouldn't make trades with the Chiefs and Patriots. What have I said? Wouldn't give him a water bottle if we were lost in the desert. We will end it there. That's Rico. I'm Bot. Ice it up, Rico, and I hope that doesn't happen again. I'm glad.
Ice up, son.
Ice up. The rest of you go ice up. Enjoy the weekend. We appreciate the 1,000+ of you that hung out. Can't wait to hang out with you next week. In the meantime, that's Rico. I'm Bot. Much love, as always. And go Bills.
Studies show that 100% of everybody in the world wants to curl up indoors and do nothing because it's so darn cold out there. That's why many people are turning to Bombas, whose pillowy plush slippers and warm merino wool socks have been said to be the most comfortable in the history of feet. Bombas products have been found to boost coziness by up to 1,000,000%. Okay, enough fake statistics, but could Bombas socks and slippers really be the cure? Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.